but you gotta know where they are. Lift up the bench, put it on, you're good to go. Also, because of the pandemic, if you're on this boat, please remember to wear your mask. Start on the right-hand side right here. This is the Wrigley building. The building is built in two parts. The northern tower is from 1921. The southern tower is from 1924. The space in between the two buildings was left for a commuter railroad. The building itself is built in a style called Spanish Revivalist, meaning we're reviving what we've seen in Europe. You can see the Spanish filigree throughout the building, the clock face from Seville, Spain. On top, a birthday cake style cupola built by Graham Anderson Probst and White for one William J. Wrigley, who used to go door to door selling baking soda. At the end of every transaction, he would hand you a stick of gum. He would say thank you for your business. Turns out people like the gum more than they like the baking soda. Thus, an empire was born. Friends, on the east side here, you have the Chicago Tribune. On the west side, you would have had the Chicago Sun-Times. That was a newspaper for the working class. Underneath, there was a bar over here where all our journalists used to gather called the Billy Goat Tavern, still there today. At that time, Chicago had a 0% residential capacity, meaning folks living and working in downtown. Today, we're at a 94% residential capacity. Straight ahead of us, of course, that is the Trump International from the year 2007, built by a gentleman by the name of Adrian Smith. We call him the world's tallest architect, not because he's that tall, but because he built the world's tallest building. That's the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. While you're drinking. Now, the style of the building is what we would call contextual because it's built within the context of what's around it. Glass matching the sky, the river, the setbacks matching the heights of the Wrigley building, Jewelers building, and finally the AMA Plaza. And the building is curved into the curvature of the river. Contextualism. Now, if you are familiar with the phrase less is more, the gentleman who built the building next to it, Mies van der Rohe, he coined that phrase. Also, buildings that we have in the city of Chicago. He is from Spain, very world famous. We're really glad to have just one of his buildings. Actually, we have two here in the city of Chicago. Coming up over on the left-hand side of the boat, you're going to see the Reed Murdoch building. The style is called the Prairie School of Architecture. If you're familiar with the name Frank Lloyd Wright, then you know what Prairie School architecture is. Often the buildings are low to the ground like our prairie. The bricks are earthy like the soil. They can also see a skeleton waving to you right there. That's because this was the city morgue for a long time. Wheat filigree throughout the building. Best looking buildings in North America, we are the worst place to build them. Why is that? Our bedrock is clay. You actually have to go down 120 feet to hit the actual bedrock. Then you pour what are called caissons, large pillars of cement with rebar steel. Straight ahead, that of course is the Martini Glass building, 150 North Riverside Plaza. The base of the building is 30 feet. All of the weight of the entire building is in that stem. Cantilevers off to the side at a beautiful 30 degrees. The east side of the building, ridged and bumpy. That, of course, is contextual for water. The ridges on the building for the water in the river go across the river. You will see the Bank of America Tower. Those staggered things that look like books, those, of course, are to be for the buildings that you're taking a look at and that we're going to explore together. Also, one of my favorite things about this building is it's built with G5 steel. That's the toughest steel in the world. That comes to us from presses throughout the building itself. That's because this was a newspaper called the Chicago Daily News. Chicago at that time was spending about $350 million annually to build our city. The Great Depression hits us, that figure collapses down to $1 million a year. It's also the death of Art Deco. We don't start building in Chicago again until about the mid-19 or late 60s, and you get this: modernism, skin, glass, steel, less is more. Put them side by side for just a second. Art Deco is about looking to the future. This is the future. Glass matches the green of the river, the bend of the building matches the bend of the river, so environmentally it's site-specific to what's around it. Also, Adam Street is the origin point of Route 66, our famous highway system. It goes as far west as Santa Monica, California, doubles back and ends right here at Jackson Boulevard, so after the boat ride, you can take a really long road trip or a very short one. The choice is yours. Friends, if you're at this point thinking, why in God's name am I listening to this man? He's blathering out about boats and buildings and cars and rivers. Let me remind you, if you were having that existential crisis, of where you are. You are literally right here. The red dot is where you are right now. This is a map of the Chicago River. They spent $850,000 on a map of the Chicago River. Before they did this, nobody talked about this building. Now we're talking about it. If I have any Batman fans on the boat, The Dark Knight. Down to the Harrison Street Bridge, down to the Roosevelt Street Bridge. But check out the front of the building. There's a green space or a park. The back